Today we're looking at the Blue Yeti USB microphone. So this is going to be plugged and played straight into a PC, and it's a condenser style microphone. So I personally use this for all kinds of music recording, shameless plug to my channel over there, and it's also really suited for like voice use, like podcasting, very popular. It costs around £100, and taking a look at it, the construction of this is metal. You've got a really nice sturdy base, and what you can do is sort of loosen these side screws to change the angle of the microphone, and you can also completely invert it for storage. The I/O for it is on the bottom, so you've got a mini USB to plug into a computer and a headphone jack for zero latency monitoring, which I'll talk about more in a moment. While on the top you've got a button for muting and a volume knob for that monitoring. On the back you've got the other controls of the microphone. Let me just tighten that up. So you've got gain on the microphone itself, and that's independent of any other gain you can do on your computer. They've put a tri-capsule array within here, so it's not just one thing recording. And with those, they can combine them in different ways to give you different recording modes. So the first mode is called omnidirectional, and this is denoted by a circle. And this basically means that the sound is basically unidirectional. From all directions, it'll be taken however it is and not changed in any way. The second mode is called cardioid, and this is really well suited to vocals because basically it kind of ignore what's behind the microphone and focus on what's in the front. The next two probably aren't used quite as much. So one of them is called bidirectional, and basically this puts a bias on what's in front and behind the microphone. So very good for an interview type situation where you're sitting across someone. And the last one's called stereo, and what's going to happen with this, say if you've got a band playing across, it's really going to kind of amplify the way one instrument comes from one direction and another one comes from another direction. Having these four recording modes makes this a very versatile microphone, and I think only Blue really have this kind of feature on their microphones and not many other manufacturers do. The other killer feature to talk about is the zero latency monitoring. I think that's an amazing feature to have on a microphone, and I think without this you could easily make the argument that having an audio interface, which is kind of the more pro kit, would be a better option. But having this monitoring means that you can do everything you need to do with this microphone. So for example, I can play music from my computer into here when I'm recording a track, and you can also just hear yourself. Just being able to hear yourself while you're recording is really useful. The thing I was saying with the computer as well, I use a little program called Sound Switch, and that lets you set a hotkey on your computer and basically toggle whether you're sending audio to your computer speakers or sending it through the microphone and out of the headphones that are plugged into there. Let's briefly talk sound. So the frequency response on this microphone is 20 Hz to 20 kHz, so that pretty much spans the entire audio spectrum. What I've done is a little experiment to compare this microphone to the microphone on my phone camera, which is what I use to make all my videos, and we can take a look at that now. So I've got myself, my phone, and the Blue Yeti in sort of an equilateral triangle. So first off, here's the phone. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. And here's the audio that the Blue Yeti recorded. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Now I've got my guitar, we can see how that sounds different. So firstly on the phone, and then with the Blue Yeti. So that's an interesting one. With the speaking test, I think there's definitely more clarity on what the Blue Yeti records. And with the guitar, I personally think the sound of the Yeti sounds better than my phone's microphone. But actually it's quite close, and if anything this shows that the microphone on my phone is not too bad as far as things go. Let's talk a little bit about some of the competitors. So I haven't used many of the USB mics. There's one made by Rode, the NT USB, which is about £150, which I've also read good things about, so if you want to spend a bit more, maybe that's another option to look into. Blue themselves also make quite a few other microphones. Their entry-level microphone is the Snowball. Now that's missing the bidirectional and the stereo modes that I mentioned before, and it's also missing that headphone monitoring. There's also the Yeti Nano, which is a little bit smaller than the Yeti itself, and again that's missing the bidirectional and stereo, but it keeps the headphone monitoring. Let's make some closing statements. So hopefully, as I've shown, this is a very versatile microphone with all its different recording modes. It's also very good value. It comes at a price which is much less than what you pay for a separate audio interface and microphone combination, and that's kind of the pro setup. And it can do pretty much everything that that setup can do. The only thing it can't do is, have a guitar input going into the microphone and going into your computer, which is something you need an audio interface for. And that just leads me on to saying it's just generally easy to use a USB microphone. There's just less going on, and if you're not as familiar with technology, then it's a really good option. Moving on, I definitely have some gripes about the UI on this microphone. So first off, I find it annoying that the dials change the gain and the recording mode are on the back. Like, why would you do that? And the final thing is that it is kind of a jack of all trades microphone, so it's not going to excel in all kinds of areas, but I think it's a really good general microphone to have if you want to start getting into recording like I have. Okay, that's everything I had to say. If you have any more questions, put them in the comments. Otherwise, I'll catch you in the next one.